On Monday, April 7, 2025, many Nigerians in the federal capital city, Abuja, and other cities across the country woke up to a normal day. As usual, they were ready for work, but many routes were blocked. Some wondered what would have happened. It was a protest by a group, Take It Back. Asset Television is taking you back to the history of protests since this political dispensation, and if the federal government has responded to any of the requests put forward by the protesters.
In year 2000 Zango Ketav riots. These riots emerged from ethnic and religious tensions in Kaduna State, leading to widespread violence and protests over government inaction and proactiveness in ethnic crisis that had plagued that southern part of Kaduna State. Following the Zango Ketav was the 2005 fuel subsidy protest, when the Nigerian government attempted to remove fuel subsidies. Widespread protests erupted. The protest highlighted the populace frustration with high fuel prices and the government's perceived neglect of the public's welfare. As the fuel subsidy protest of 2005 was settling, there came yet another protest in 2007 over the general election protest of that year. Following the controversial elections results, which many viewed were rigged, protests erupted in various cities. The opposition parties and civil society groups called for a review of the electoral process to make the election results believable by the parties and contestants, including the voters. The protests went the way of the previous ones as nothing really changed, and as usual, Nigerians went on with their normal businesses. As if the 2007 protest was not enough to send a message to the federal government, there was yet another in 2012 tagged Occupy Nigeria. This protest was triggered by the government's removal of fuel subsidies in January 2012. This major national protest saw large crowds demonstrating against the resultant increase in fuel prices. The protest drew attention to issues of corruption and governance. Some persons were arrested and detained by the authorities for coming out to protest. Some of the protesters arrested claimed the arrest was politically motivated. 2 years after, there was another protest arising from the kidnap of Chibok schoolgirls. It was codenamed Bring Back Our Girls campaign, following the adoption of 276 schoolgirls by Boko Haram in Chibok. This movement started as a social media campaign and evolved into nationwide protest advocating for government action to find the girls and address the broader security situation. This protest was led by a former minister, Obi Ekwezili, and Aisha Yusufu. Another protest came in 2015. The protests arose from various groups dissatisfied with perceived failures in governance, economic management, and security issues. Then came the mother of all protests, the End SARS protests of 2020, prompted by widespread outrage of police brutality. This movement targeted the Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS of the Nigerian police force. The protest gained international attention and resulted in calls for police reform, but they were met with a violent crackdown by authorities. Several protesters were arrested, many of whom are said to still be in detention. This protest was closely followed by that of 2021 against insecurity and economic hardship. Various protests emerged in 2001 addressing growing insecurity issues and the rising cost of living, as well as a lack of government responsiveness. 4 years after when the Nigerian police had concluded arrangements to celebrate National Police Day, they were challenged with yet another protest, Take It Back. The protest was successful in some states, but others pulled out, claiming they were not carried along by the organizers. The police had to use tear gas to disperse the protesters in Abuja and Port Harcourt. There are a total of 9 notable protests, all calling for improved security, good governance, and for the general well-being of the citizens.